So I remember my second year with the Kansas City Chiefs. It was 2001, and we had a new coach coming in by the name of Dick Vermeil. He had won the Super Bowl not too many years ago, retired, but it was now coming back to the Chiefs. And a lot of things to like about Coach Vermeil. One that I loved was the fact that when we traveled, he put the veterans up front. So the oldest guys were up front, and I was the second oldest guy on the team. So I was in first class, and I thought that was pretty cool. Only person older than me was Morton Anderson. But anyhow, as I remember, one time I got to the plane for an away trip early. I think I was the first one on the plane, actually. And I'm sitting there in first class, just minding my own business. And I see a guy come in, and he's holding all these different cases, and then he's got a cup of Starbucks coffee, and he's trying to go back. I can see clearly he's with the media. And I just say, sir, can I help you? And he's like, no, I'm fine. And I said, no, really, can I help? He goes, no, I'm okay. And I know what he was doing. They had all been coached not to talk to the players, don't bother the players because we're going to play a game, blah, blah, blah. You know how that goes. And he was dropping things, still had his coffee. And finally I said, sir, listen, just let me take your coffee and you carry everything else and you get situated, then we'll be okay. And I literally didn't give him a choice. And we went back and he put his things up. I gave him the cup of coffee. He said, thank you. And I walked back. So in 2008, I become part of the Chiefs radio network. I'm going to be the sideline voice. And I remember an away trip the night before, Dan Israel, the executive producer for the Chiefs radio network, and I sit down for a beer and continue to get to know each other. And as we're sitting there, he goes, Kendall, do you remember someone getting on a plane one time when you were a player and they were struggling to get all their stuff and you helped them out? And I had to think about it. And I was like, you know what? I do remember that. It was somebody with the media. Was that somebody that was with the broadcast and you? And he goes, yeah, that was me that you helped. And I go, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I never forgot that. You wouldn't take no for an answer. You noticed that I was struggling, and you carried my coffee back. And it sounds like a little thing, but as I think about it, I believe it's a really big thing. Oftentimes when I would get on planes, I would have my blinders on and I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing. I'm in first class, I'm feeling it, I love that. But for whatever reason, I noticed this guy struggling. And as I found out later, I noticed Dan Israel struggling to get everything on there. And while it doesn't sound like a heroic thing, and it's really not, just the fact that being aware of somebody needing a little bit of help in one way, in one fashion, I think is something that we can all take something from. Oftentimes we put those blinders on and we're only focused on what we've got going on instead of being aware of what's going on around us. I think God gave us peripheral vision for a reason, which is He wants us to understand what's going on around us, not only in front of us and what we're focused on. And sometimes it may make a little bit bigger difference than others, but really, when it comes down to it, that's all that matters, is that it does make a difference, even if it doesn't benefit you, or at least it doesn't benefit you in the here and now, in the present. You think about it. I helped somebody in 2001 for no other reason than it was the right thing to do. I saw somebody struggling. Almost 8 years later, somebody's talking to me about the fact of what I did, that they said they will never forget it. And this was a person who hired me to be a commentator on the Chiefs Radio Network for 12 years. And I think that's just a beautiful metaphor for how can we, in this day and age, when it's always about us and singularly focused, this social media, me, what's going on. There's nothing wrong with things being about us, but I think the bigger picture is, how can you make a difference with somebody else? How can you look to help your fellow human being? As I always say, if you treat people like they matter, well, then they do matter, and this world becomes just a little bit better place. And that's really true. That's all we're really trying to do, is make this world a little bit better place, not only for ourselves, but for those who come after us.